Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Supergirl. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share and leave a like. Comment below and know your thoughts on Supergirl. And, of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, Supergirl, I was really looking forward to this film. I'm a huge fan of Millie Alcock. Like most of you, I discovered her on House of the Dragon. Thought she was phenomenal in that, and some of the other things that I have seen her in. I feel like she has really knocked it out of the park. So I was really excited to see how she could play Supergirl. I'm also a huge fan of her. As you can see, I have the comic that this movie is based on right behind me. Of course, you know, not just for Superman, but for Supergirl. Love the symbol over here. So yeah, a lot of things, a lot of momentum going into this film as it comes to DCU. They have overall really pleased me. And I have now seen the movie twice, because on the first one, I was a little bit of a mixed bag, to say the least, because there is a lot to appreciate about this film. I really do believe that, but there are some shortcomings that come with it. And after coming out of it a second time, where I was overall to really judge a movie based on itself as opposed to comparing it to the source material that you see behind me, I do like it a lot more than I did on the first one, because overall, when it comes to my main criticism of the film, it's everything that they kind of changed about this, the main source material, but that was what I was more akin to on the first time I was watching, I should say. The second time I was watching, my gripes within the film comes to within pacing of it, when it comes to those clashing of when it's focusing on Kara and kind of developing their own story within her origins and all of that. Then also juggling, hey, we have to deal with, you know, the Woman of Tomorrow story as well. And the stories to me just clashed within each other every once in a while. But as for positives, Millie Alcock as Supergirl is absolutely phenomenal. I would almost as far to go to say it's perfect casting in a lot of ways. Like, she just wears Kara so well throughout the whole entire film. Like, I never saw an actress playing this. Like, it just meshed very well throughout the whole entire film. I really liked a lot of the style throughout the film. Sometimes the color grading was a little bland for me, but overall some of the plans really felt lively throughout, especially when we got to the third act, where, not to get too into it, but you know, a different color would come into play. I thought was really stunning to look at, to say the least. I thought the fight choreography was also a lot of fun as well. I thought that was captured very good throughout the whole entire movie. But yeah, again, overall, when it comes to my issues with the film, for just the film, when I take my issues, because again, they kind of change up, they take some liberties when it comes to the Woman of Tomorrow story, and I will go as far to even say that they kind of change up the whole entire theme of that story with this film. But hey, this has a different story to tell. And overall, when we get to the ending beat, I'm able to swallow it a lot better, because at first I was not a huge fan of the ending. This time I was able to, again, consume it better here. Is that, again, within the pacing, when they are trying to juggle both the Woman of Tomorrow story and then the origin story of Kara, they're just kind of clashing within each other, and the movie just kind of feels like it doesn't really know which direction it wants to take. And when it does decide to take a direction and focus on that direction, mainly when it comes to the origin of Kara, and also the inner struggle that Kara is having, because what I always liked about Supergirl, because this movie had so much to juggle, right? Like, one, they were doing Woman of Tomorrow. Two, they had to introduce Kara Zor-El, right? And understand why she is different from Superman. She's not just Superman, but as a female, she is her own person. And you know, you see it in the trailer as well, when she says, hey, Clark sees the good in people, I see them for who they are. How I've always seen Supergirl and Superman is that, and you know, I'm not saying like I'm like the smartest person ever for thinking this. Other people think this as well, but Superman is the person that we always aspire to be. We want to be like Superman. We want to be that symbol of hope. We want to see the good in everyone. But most of us, if not all of us, are Kara. We have, flaws all the way through. We see the bad in people. We make mistakes. We kind of want vengeance. We want all of these different things. That's the standout between them. Kara is who we are, while Superman is who we inspire to be. That's just how I've already seen the difference of the two. And I feel like they portrayed that here very well. And I feel like that's overall where the heart of this movie really wanted to be. The other thing I feel like this movie was juggling with, I feel like they didn't necessarily need to throughout. Granted, again, it is part of the Woman of Tomorrow story as well. I don't know if maybe James Gunn thought, hey, we didn't communicate the different suns well enough, because they really hammer home on the solar energy of, red sun, yellow sun, green sun, all the different suns here, and about how that impacts the powers of our Superman and our Supergirl here. The only other criticisms I could think of, and I really don't want to make this on... Who was the director of this film? Craig? I cannot remember his last name. But in a way, this movie felt like it was trying to be a James Gunn film as opposed to being its own film. And overall, again, I just felt like that clashing was really clashing within each other. Like I said with the score, I loved Kara's theme song in this. I loved all of the actual composing music throughout this film. I would like to see a lot more of it. Not to say I didn't mind the needle drops that would happen, although there is one that kind of comes from out of nowhere that I overall don't agree with, and it's the last one that comes late in the film. Again, I would have stuck to composing as opposed to dropping this needle drop here. Won't say what the song is. I'll just let you experience it for what you are. But if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I would imagine that you probably feel the exact same way. But again, it just felt like, again, this movie was having an identity crisis of wanting to know which story to tell. Do I stick to this origin story to really make us be more attached to Kara, or do I commit to the source material that we are trying to adapt here that a lot of people seem to love? And then also, what kind of skin am I trying to wear? Am I trying to wear our CEO's skin for the most part, where it's truly his identity? Hell, everything that has come out before has been his, so that's kind of the flavor that people are expecting when they come to see a DCU project. Or do I try to go my own way? It's just those types of things where I feel like the movie really struggled with itself. But overall, after the second time, because again, the first time, I don't know why, I made the big mistake of rereading the book right before going into the movie, pretty much. I never do that. I usually let it sit for 4 months, but for some reason, I let this linger too long. And the book was really fresh in my mind, and those changes that they made were weighing really heavy on me coming out of the first one. When you see it on my immediate reaction, that I was like, I don't know if I liked it. And then coming out of it, watching the second time, able to judge the movie based on itself and its own decisions, I do appreciate Supergirl a lot more. But I had to rank it on the lemon scale, where it goes sour lemon at the bottom, didn't like it. Expired story about lemonade, bad, but hey, there's some good. Story about lemonade, good, but hey, there's some bad. Lemonade in the middle, it's a movie. Freshly squeezed lemonade, very good, minor nitpicks. And then strawberry lemonade at the very top, because it's the best kind of lemonade. Supergirl's a lemonade, but still pretty good lemonade if they would have just stuck to a lane, either or. Whether it be Woman of Tomorrow or Kara's origin, I feel like the movie was really continuing with the freshly squeezed lemonade, and probably continuing for one of my favorite movies of the year. Because again, Millie Alcock is absolutely phenomenal in the movie. Jason Momoa is great as Lobo. I don't know if Lobo necessarily needed to be in the movie. I was kind of hoping that we would have this little dance. If you read Woman of Tomorrow, where we kind of have this element of Kara's being the angel on Ruthie's shoulder, while Lobo is being the devil on Ruthie's shoulder, and we kind of play with that, but we don't really go anywhere with it. But again, when he is on, yeah, he was kind of born to play this role. He is phenomenal in it. But again, I would say you probably didn't overall need him. But yeah, overall, I had a good time with the movie both times. It's just when you're attached to a certain story. Yeah, if they don't tell that exact story that you read, you may have some problems with it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Supergirl. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on the film. Leave a like if you made this far with the review. I do greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.